Hello you guys, welcome back. I'm so excited for today's video. I'm going to tell you guys how we manage our money as a couple in our 20s. And yeah, if you're new here, my name's Alice. I love to chat about money, obviously. And I also like to show you guys a little bit about my life. I've tried to film this video probably like 3 times and we'll see if this one actually happens. I don't know why this is like a cursed video for me. Yeah, so we just have Hazel here with me. I had to make the bed around her, but that's what you do when you're a mother. All right, yeah, so today is going to include what accounts we use, our credit cards, investments, and then a monthly walkthrough of how our money flows in and flows out of our accounts. So basically, the underlying principle of the way that we manage our money is that we want to feel as much peace, as much financial peace as humanly possible. And a lot of that comes with the way that we do structure our finances. All right, without further ado, I'm gonna get into the background / context because I feel like context is everything in personal finance. My husband and I, we both just graduated. He graduated with a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I graduated with my undergrad in communications. Let me move this real quick. So with that came some pay raises, which was super awesome, and we do not have any children, so we're both working full-time right now. We do have 2 cats, but they're like really inexpensive for us. So I do marketing. I have been already working for 3 years now, even though I just graduated 4 months ago, which has also helped our finances. And then my husband also worked during college. So basically I'm just trying to tell you guys this stuff to understand like why our finances are the way we are. Another huge thing about our finances is that we do have a house, which when we were living in an apartment and it was only $1,000 a month, our finances looked way different to now when we live in a house and our mortgage is $3,000 a month. Also, our cars are completely paid off. So we have 2 cars, a 2007 Honda Accord and a 2016 Chevy Traverse. We just paid off the Traverse, I think last month actually, which is so exciting. But yeah, that was $10,000 and we paid that off. That's kind of our financial situation, and let's get into the accounts that we use. I feel like every couple does their finances differently and there's so many different ways to do it these days, which I think is really fun. But my husband and I, we do have 100% combined finances. Well, as much as we can, we do have our own 401ks, but it's still the same thing where if I increase my 401k contribution through my company, it will impact him because our money is joint. Our salaries are together. My money's his money, his money's my money. So if I were to make less, that would also impact him. So we still have separate 401ks, but we do have all other shared finances. So we have one checking account and all of our money is direct deposited into that checking account, and that is kind of where, yeah, all the money comes in and then that's where all the money goes out of too. So we have all of our bills come out of our checking account, and the big thing about our checking account is we try to keep at least $1,000 in it at all time. I wouldn't be surprised if when we have kids or if we had a more expensive house or more expensive bills that we would increase that, because basically the goal of having $1,000 in our checking account is to make sure that we never have an overdraft fee. And so that $1,000 includes the bills and every time we use our debit card when we go grocery shopping. If you guys are not familiar with Winco, it's a very inexpensive grocery store here. I know it's other states, but I know it's not like in every state. And it is just, yeah, it's just not very expensive, but they only take debit card and that's part of it. They're just trying to minimize their fees and pass along those savings to their customers. So that's why the food is cheap, but it's also like you have to bag your own groceries and you can only use a debit card. And it's not like a great shopping experience to me. And I feel like that helps us save money because I want to get in and get out as fast as humanly possible. But yeah, so that's basically our checking account. Everything comes out of our checking account, our investments. Okay, so moving on, we have a high yield savings account and nothing is direct deposited into this account. If we want to put money in there, we have to literally like move it from our checking account to our high yield savings account. Oh, yeah, so everything that we want to put in the HSA, we have to move manually. We do have one automated sinking fund set up and that is for our cats. And that is only $25 a month. So other than that, we just move things. So recently when I had a little lull at work, I just texted my husband and said, here's how much we're moving into the high yield savings account this month. And then he moved it manually from our checking account to our savings account. And I do love automation. I want to move forward going closer to automating a lot of different things. The thing is that we've had such high expenses for so long before we graduated that it was just, I feel like automation is so hard when you have super high expenses because in the end, you don't always have enough money for everything. And so the idea of automating savings when you have really high fixed expenses is just tricky because sometimes you do have to choose other things over saving, which can be really tricky. But yeah, moving forward, we are gonna automate more savings just because we are making more money now than we used to. So in our high yield savings account, we have multiple different savings account within that. The big one is that we have our emergency fund, and that's about $13,000. And then we have our CAP fund, which is about a couple $100. And then we also have a furniture and yard fund, like furniture, home, yard celebrations, which is Christmas, anniversary, birthdays, and then travel, which is not a fund that's for like going to Europe and going on big trips. Travel is just for buying plane tickets back to Oregon. My family still lives in Oregon and I want to be able to see them as much as possible. So we do fly quite a bit to Oregon, and the flights aren't too expensive. They're about like $200, $250. It's not super expensive, but it's not incredibly cheap either. And I personally really like that we have our high yield savings account, not even with our normal bank, because honestly, I just forget that we even have that money in there. It just feels so out of sight, out of mind that I feel like it helps us not save more, but it helps us to keep that money there and not use it as much as we might if it was with our normal bank, if it was more closely tied to our checking account. Okay, let's move on to credit cards. So credit cards are so interesting for me. I grew up in a Dave Ramsey household, which say what you want about his money policies or anything, but I do know that I really appreciated growing up in a household where there was no debt except for a mortgage. On the flip side of that, I assumed that if you had a credit card, that meant you had debt. Like your credit score is pointless. It just shows you like how good you are at borrowing money when you shouldn't be borrowing money at all. Like credit cards always equal debt. You always spend more on a credit card. Like those are the things I heard. So when I was dating my husband and I found out he had not one, but 2 credit cards, I was like, I brought it up to him like 4 or 5 times. I was like, you can tell me if you have credit card debt. Like we'll work through this together. And he would be like, I don't. Like he grew up in the family where you get a credit card as soon as you can so you can start building your credit, but you always just pay it off in full. And I was 21 and I had never had a credit card. I thought I would never have to get a credit card. But then we bought a house and I needed a credit score. So anyways, for us, it was really important. Basically, all this to say is that we do have 2 credit cards. We have the Delta Amex card because we fly to Oregon all the time, and I do love flying Delta. They have a huge hub in Salt Lake City, so it's really easy to fly Delta. And then number 2, we have the Apple Card. Personally, I really hate the idea of like credit card points and cash back. Like it's never really been something that's important to me. I will say that our honeymoon was really paid for by credit card points. And we do get flight credits every single year that help pay for flights to Oregon. But yeah, so we have a credit card and we have 2 credit cards and we pay them off in full every single month. We've never carried a balance before. And basically, every time we swipe our credit card or every time a payment comes through, we budget in a sense that that money's already gone. So we're not like, oh my gosh, how much have we spent on the credit cards at the end of the month? Like we already know on our budget spreadsheet, we act like that money's not there. So one thing about the way we manage our money is that when I look at our bank account, our actual checking account, when I see a number there, I don't believe it because I know that we use credit cards, and so that not all that money is there for us to spend. It's already been spent. It just needs to go towards the credit cards. I will say credit cards are really nice for us because number 1, if there's ever a fraudulent charge, which my husband checks all the time when he pays them off, that's not going to fall onto us. And then number 2 is that we can pay them off at the same, like all at the same time. Basically, we can take all of our charges for the entire month and pay it off all at the same time, which is just super nice. It makes the money moving in and money moving out of our bank account and our checking account way more simple. So I definitely appreciate that part. I just hated having a credit card at first. I didn't understand, like, I was so afraid of them. I wanted to pay them off every single day, which is not bad, but I just didn't understand, like, I just didn't like having a charge on my credit card, but it not being due. And I don't know. So we pay our credit card off. The Apple Card comes out the 1st of the month and the Amex comes out the 3rd of the month. So we budget from the 3rd of one month to the 3rd of the next because we want the end of that the end of that budgeting period to be us paying off the credit cards. So we start at at ground zero with the cards paid off and our mortgage already coming out. Okay, then with our investment accounts. So we have, 1, 2, 3 investment accounts and we're opening a 4th one this year. So we both max out our 401ks, which is super exciting. We try to get that company match. And then we also have a joint Roth IRA in which we put Okay, wait, I need to start over. I need to backtrack a little bit. So before our paychecks even ever hit our bank account, our money goes towards our company 401ks. So that's really nice because it just feels like that money was never even yours. I will say increasing it, my company just does a sum. So when I want to increase my contribution, like I feel it, but my husband, his company does this thing where they do a percentage. So every time he gets a raise, he's increasing his 401k contribution, which mentally and emotionally for me is a much easier way to increase the 401k contribution because I can only also increase mine 4 times a year. So I can get a raise and then I have to wait a couple months, and by then I'm already attached to this extra money, but it's a work in progress. So we both max out our company 401ks, and then we also contribute $100 a week to our Roth IRA combined. We're going to open up another Roth IRA because there's 2 of us, so we can have 2. And that is going to happen, I think it's sometime in September or October. So we're very excited for that. And that $100 a week is automated. So that's another part of investing, is sometimes it's just easy to invest when you don't notice it come out of your bank account. I will say we used to invest $75 a week automated, and then we wanted to raise it, but we didn't know how much, and I was feeling uncertain about the future. So we just raised it $25 a week, you guys, and it has already made such a big difference. And that $25 a week will make a huge difference by the time we're 67. So happy that we already did that, because the transition from 75 to 100 is very, very easy. So now I'm gonna read to you guys off my computer just the ways that the money comes in and out of our bank account, because I feel like that is a way that causes people stress sometimes, but we found a way to make it very easy for ourselves. So the budget starts on the 3rd of the month, and we have $1,000 in our account. And that is for our bills and our groceries, and that usually is spread out through the month. So we have internet, gas and energy, car insurance, water and trash, life insurance, power, and then every time we go grocery shopping, which is about 3 times a month. Then we get paid slowly over time. We do use our credit cards knowing that we're gonna get paid that month, but I've actually checked it and we never technically have more on our credit cards than is in our bank account, if that makes sense. So we don't purposely do that, but that is really helpful for us, and that is something that I want to intentionally do going forward. So as the month goes on, I get paid twice a month, my husband gets paid bi-weekly, and that just hits our bank account. And because we don't live paycheck to paycheck, we don't get paid and go, oh my gosh, now we can spend all of our money. Partially because we use credit cards, partially just because we have already budgeted for it. So we know that every dollar has a place to go, but it doesn't have to go there right now. And we're not like living paycheck to paycheck. As we spend money on non-groceries and non-bills, that comes out of our credit card. And we just make sure that the credit card never gets bigger than our bank account balance. And then at the very end of that budgeting cycle, we pay off our mortgage, which is $3,000 on the 1st of the month. And then on the 1st of the month, we also do the Apple Card. And then on the 3rd of the month, we do the Amex card. And then on the 4th of the month, it restarts and we're at level 0, which is $1,000 in our bank account. And through that month, we will have moved money into savings and money to investments. So that's kind of how the money moves in and out of our bank account. I don't know if that was super helpful, but I just feel like it's different for everyone. I just wanted to share what we did. But thank you guys so much for watching my video today. I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.